You're listening to the Sanspants Network.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Baseless Speculation, all the pop culture news and other research so you don't have to. I'm Joel.
I'm Jackson.
And I'm Joel.
Now boys, how did we feel about Madame Web?
It's a based reaction, and also Baseless Speculations back for 2024, and also Baseless Speculations back on Sanspants Radio.
Yeah! I'm meant to be recovering from surgery. I had meant to have 3 weeks. This is week 2, baby!
Yeah! We saw Madame Web at week 1.
Yeah, I was not doing well, and I reckon it helped.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Madame Web is a
movie.
It's a really special picture.
Part of the Sony movies Spider-Man universe of movies.
Well, it depends who you're asking, because I think if you ask some of the actors, I reckon they thought it was part of Marvel.
So a lot of stuff. Look, all right, we'll address this straight off the bat. There's been a lot of speculation that Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney were tricked.
Yes.
And I'm here to say yes, but also they were doing that with Morbius.
I was gonna say,
Like, this
Matt
isn't the
Smith
first
also
time.
got tricked.
Yeah.
Matt Smith got tricked. I think even Venom might have had some trickery
Do you wanna hear
in it.
Did you hear a crazy theory I heard recently? I was reading a thread on Twitter about these Sony Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's legitimate, but maybe there's something here. So, you remember when the Kraven trailer dropped?
Yes.
Right? Kraven in the comics, he's like a big game hunter who wants to hunt Spider-Man, the most dangerous game.
Yes.
Okay. But in the movie, he's the son of a big game hunter who has magic cat powers
Yes.
and uses those cat powers to fight his father.
Yes.
Now, that is an extremely similar premise to Gail Simone, I think that's her name, her redoing of the classic DC character Catman. To the point where when the trailer dropped, Gail Simone was like, what the hell? That's my story. Now, Madame Web. Now, Madame Web in the comic books, right, is an old woman that is annoying to Spider-Man. She's a mutant. She can see the future. She killed herself so that she didn't have to deal with the Web world shit or whatever. Anyway, but in the Madame Web movie, she is a woman in a wheelchair who is in charge. Just listen, it's relevant. Shut up. She's a woman in a wheelchair who is in charge of 3 vigilante.
Gotcha.
ladies.
Okay.
Just like Gail Simone's very prominent and much-loved run on Birds of Prey.
Cool, gotcha. All right, yep, that
Now,
dropped. Okay,
there is a series, a DC series about a supervillain team called the Secret Six. Now, one member of the Secret Six is the Batman villain Bane, who is a luchador. Now, who's another character that randomly, extremely mysteriously had a Sony movie coming out? Why is it El Muerto?
It is El Muerto.
Hey, another member of the Secret Six is called like the Violinist or something, a music-themed supervillain.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what's another Sony character that was going to get a movie? What, is it Hypno Hustler?
Yeah, I was going to call him
Hypno
I was
Hustler,
going to call him Johnny Disco, but yeah, I think Hypno Hustler's his real name.
So the theory is either some producers somewhere got very confused and read, they were like, we're going to do a Sinister Six movie, that's what we're leading to. And he was like, I'll look up the Secret Six. Or they were like, we need to do a Sinister Six movie. And he's like, we don't have the characters for it. What's another supervillain team that we can co-opt? Anyway, Gail Simone has also written for the
she's
she's
Marvel
done
and
like
DC.
a lot of the different characters that are. That's just one of a very interesting theory I read online that hey, something's going on.
That is pretty exciting.
Something's happening there.
Never put into what something is like malicious if it could just be sheer incompetence.
Yes,
and stupidity. And I think it's like, hey, we're gonna get the Spider-Man villains together, the Sinister Six or something. Yeah, no worries, boss. I'll look into it. What did he say?
The Secret Six?
Secret Six. Oh yeah,
There's
Disco Lad. A luchador.
Can you get me one of the luchadors from Marvel Comics? They're
Okay,
like,
is there a cat guy?
does he mean El Muerto?
Hey, does Spider-Man have like a cat theme guy? You mean Kraven?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm also illiterate for some reason.
Well, you see like Catman, and you can see look at the
you're
picture
like,
of Kraven.
it could be
What have we got?
Kraven.
This, the slate. Oh, there's Kraven. He's got like the big, lion head mane.
He is almost cat theme.
Oh, he's a cat guy. He's a
Yeah.
cat
What if
guy.
we
That
just
makes
took
sense.
Catman's deal and did it for him?
That's
And if you-
awesome, and I hope that's true.
Yeah.
Me
And
too.
if, like, you don't pay enough attention to
Yeah.
your job.
Anything.
Yeah.
Or like you don't give a shit about comics because like, oh, whatever, people adapted, who cares?
Yeah.
Catman, the Craven, yeah, I
Starts
can
with the
see
same,
it.
not the same letter, but it's the same curse.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I guess like this is probably a good point
Yeah.
to jump into what the fuck is going on at Sony
Oh
because
yeah, I love this segment.
Me too. It's fabulous.
what? Yeah, so I guess it's become more and more apparent that Sony is misleading its actors and
Yes.
saying, "Hey, you're going to be part of the Marvel universe." Wink.
Yeah.
You're part of a Marvel universe, but it's not the one you
Gotcha.
think you're part of. But that's not really going to work anymore anyway because I don't think anyone wants to be part of the MCU anymore.
No.
Oh, sign a 35 movie contract.
Yeah,
and-
never get out of it and tank my career, maybe?
Yeah.
Wreck my credibility or whatever Robert
Yeah.
Downey Jr. was saying?
Yeah, I mean, like it happened to Brie Larson,
Yeah.
to indie darling, to loathed internet person.
Yeah.
No fault of her own,
Of course,
except for
no.
signing that contract to be
that
part
was
of the
maybe a
Marvel
mistake.
universe. But yeah, so the Madam Web, quick box office update, a week on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
I
believe.
can only imagine it's doing gangbusters.
It's got to
Yeah,
be.
it's doing really, really well.
Yeah.
It's actually at, let me just pull up the numbers, just double check, because I checked earlier. Yeah, so it did get outperformed by Bob Marley's Bob Marley One Love, a
Okay.
biopic that was critically panned.
I did hear that one did surprisingly well though.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like a bit of almost like a sleepy hit. So you know, it's,
So maybe
Yeah.
Madam Web's competition was stiffer than we believed.
Yeah, you know, they're like, wow, this critically panned biopic.
So, Madam Web opened on Valentine's Day.
Sure.
Merry Valentine's.
Very Valentine's.
Little kisses for everybody.
Congratulations.
So
little
it had-
spider kisses.
Yeah.
It had a slightly bigger opening weekend than usual for a movie.
Okay.
It made $51 million worldwide,
That's a good chunk of change.
I would be
which
happy
is
to get it.
low.
51. I mean, I don't know. I didn't make 51 mil on the weekend.
Yeah.
Bob Marley's One Love has made $81 million worldwide.
I mean,
Okay.
that's pretty good because I haven't made it.
Yeah. I've never
And
made
the
any
number
well.
one movie at the 2024 box office currently is The Beekeeper, the Jason Statham
I mean,
movie.
have you seen the trailers?
It does look cool.
It does look pretty cool.
Apparently, it's full of bee puns, which is
I mean, that's what
crazy
you
to
want,
hear.
right?
Argyle is still currently higher than Madam Web.
I heard
a
that's
movie
also
that
critically panned.
Because you're like, who is
Bombed
Argyle?
really
right?
hard.
Like,
Yeah,
who is
yeah.
Argyle? That's all we
Yeah,
want
well,
to
they
know.
made
Yeah.
books or whatever.
Yeah.
Who is Argyle?
Is it a
Who's
cat?
that guy?
Or is it the author named R. Kyle?
Or is it a pattern?
Who knows?
It's hard to say.
Well, Madam Web's doing awesome. Shall we run through the plot real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Let me just hang on. I should probably just double check because I'm pretty sure Madam Web was made for about $100 million.
Okay.
Okay.
It was made
Oh,
for.
and
Oh,
I guess, hey, spoilers from here on
Yeah,
out.
spoilers for Madam Web.
You don't care.
You don't care.
If you haven't seen it by now, you're not gonna.
Probably this is crazy, the best way to engage with the plot
Yeah.
of Madam Web is
Yeah.
to hear it said on a dumb guy podcast.
Yeah.
yeah. So it was made for $100 million.
Okay.
But it got a $20 million tax break. So it, was,
Nice.
it only cost $80 million. So they're still very much in the red.
Yes. Oh yeah, big time. So Madam Web is a paramedic in New York in what I read somewhere was originally going to be the 90s so that they could involve Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, but
Yeah.
now it was pushed to 2003 to make the timeline work.
Sure.
Not worth it.
Work to what regard?
Who can say?
Okay.
It can tie into Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Exactly.
I
Well,
see,
actually,
I
you know what?
see.
I need to go back a step further.
Oh, you do.
Madam Web's mother is in the Amazon. She's studying spiders.
Yeah. Which we're not told why.
We don't know why
You
she's
do,
studying spiders.
She says.
No, Bob.
Well,
straight
but-
away, she says they can heal shit.
Yeah, we know she's here, but there's an
And
extra
no one's
reason.
ever seen those spiders
Yeah.
before.
But
They're
she
hard,
finds
they're
one. She's
Yeah.
looking at a web, and it happens to be a web one of those spiders is on.
Yep.
She's also there with mysterious bad guy Ezekiel. Now she comes back to the camp. She's got the web in a jar. She says, the spider in a jar. She says, I found the spider. Ezekiel says, not on your life. And shoots her full of bullets.
No, he shoots her bodyguards and then she's like, give me the spider or I'll shoot you. Because she's also 8 months pregnant.
That's true. Exactly. Very important.
and there's a tussle and the gun goes off and she gets shot. And Ezekiel's like, didn't really want to do that, but
How
Sucks to
sensitive
suck.
are guns?
Oh, in movies?
pretty, not in real life, very
Yeah,
sensitive.
you drop a
Damn.
gun, it'll go off.
Damn, man.
Yeah, I know,
That's
dude. Don't have a
scary.
gun.
We should do something about that, huh?
Yeah,
Guns are dangerous.
What?
It's
Yeah,
true,
I
man.
know.
They're not toys.
Yeah, the amount of times that people shoot themselves in the leg or blow their own nuts off
Yeah.
or kids shoot their dad or whatever.
Yeah.
Because, guns.
They'll go off
I go
like
off like,
that.
drop of a hat.
Yeah, on a
Yeah.
whim. Thankfully for Madam Web, a mysterious group of spider shamans.
Yeah, who had previously just been mentioned in passing.
Yeah, exactly.
before.
About maybe one scene earlier, they arrive and they take Madam Web Madam Web's mother to a magic pool, and she gets. Well, they deliver the baby, but she dies.
Yeah, but
she gets bit by the spider to try and heal her because
Yeah.
it's a healing spider that gives you magical powers.
Which
She bites the mom.
But
The
then-
spider bites the mom. She dies. Cassie is born
Cassie
still.
Webb is born.
And then the spider shaman
Yeah,
is like looking at baby and like, you'll find me later.
yeah. And then
Smash cut to America.
yeah, she somehow
How'd
makes
she
it.
get there?
Who knows? She somehow makes it from there to New York. Grows up. She lives in a foster family. She becomes a paramedic.
Yeah.
Now,
2003.
2003. Now,
in Queens, New York. Now, straight off the bat,
We
they
gotta
do
address
not
something.
mention 9/11.
no 9/11.
Not a single. Like, I mean,
But-
it's there.
But
Yes, it is there.
Ben, Uncle Ben, who is a character in this,
Yes,
Ben
yeah.
Parker, did fight in Afghanistan.
That's true. That is established. 9/11.
No. It clearly happened because the way that these two paramedics and maybe some of the other paramedics
Yeah.
that we've seen, how they react so detached.
Yeah, that's
I would
true.
argue that a lot of
They're
them have
traumatized.
like trauma and PTSD because of it. It's just
They're
one of
all
those things
fucked
that
up
they're
by
just
9/11.
not
Yeah.
saying.
It's actually
'cause-
an incredibly subtle choice.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
behalf of the filmmakers.
Or alternatively, wooden acting. I would say they do directly say that Ben Parker's like, I'm back from the war.
Yeah, he was in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
He was over there fighting in Iraq.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
I don't think he would, because 2003, I
No,
don't
he
think the
wouldn't
war
have
in
been,
Iraq,
yeah.
it would have been, Afghanistan.
Yeah,
he would have
yeah.
gone to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
I guess because what, in the 90s it would have been. Well,
Yeah,
Gulf
yeah.
War, yeah.
Crazy.
I just gotta
So,
say vague war.
yeah, they help some people out. They do some paramedicing.
Cassie falls off a bridge.
Cassie falls off a bridge. There's a very weird scene prior to that where the family of somebody they helped during the course of their job comes up to like thank Madam Web.
Yeah, you
And
saved my
my daughter or my sister or my mom.
Mom.
My mom.
It's a little baby.
Yeah, and she gives Madam Web
A drawing.
and Madam Web is like the most inhuman. Like I guess they were trying to be like she doesn't like
kids.
or she feels weird about kids because she was adopted. It also has never really paid off. But anyway, and then she's complains. Is it?
It's meant to
Yes.
be, but it's because the people. We'll get to it, but it's
It's
because
paid off.
the Spider Women are meant to be in their middle teens,
Yeah.
but
Okay,
they
then
And
look.
she keeps mentioning. We'll get to it.
Yes.
But she keeps mentioning, "I'm your mum now."
Yeah, that's right.
Like
she does
4
say
times.
That. She does say that.
real bad.
There's a strange line where she gets the kid's drawing where she's like, "Oh, I can't even fold it." Which
What
is
do
insane.
I do? What do I do with this? And then Ben's like, just take
Fold it in your pocket and throw
it
it
out
just
later.
like take it. Just
It
take
doesn't
it.
even fold. It's cardboard. What did she get? Anyway,
It's so
it's
weak.
not laminated. Anyway, then she falls off a bridge. Good stuff. When she falls off the bridge, she has a vision or her powers
near-death
activate.
experience, which results in a vision. We see webs. We see a big S.
Yeah, dude.
And we see some fireworks.
Yeah. Now, then Madam Web goes through a period of time where she realizes she has precognition. She can see the future.
Yeah. She keeps thinking it's deja vu,
Yeah.
but
No, she doesn't. She doesn't know what she's like. It's bad. I don't know. If I was experiencing the same thing over and over again, sure, there's that little bit of like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
But she
She just takes it in her stride and just is like, huh, that's weird. And it results in the death of the fire chief.
yeah.
Then, and this is funny, I didn't notice this, somebody pointed out later. That outfit she's wearing is what she was going to wear to the funeral. That's not funeral appropriate. She's on they're like, you coming into the funeral? She's like, okay, I'll come into the funeral. She's wearing that outfit. That's not, I don't know if you know this, Madam Web, you dress in black to a funeral. Anyway,
maybe they do it different.
maybe they do it different in New York in 2003.
But what I liked about that scene though is because they're at an accident at the firework factory.
Yeah,
and they
that's true.
mention that like there's still fire going off.
Yeah.
like it still seems like they're in the midst of that disaster.
Yeah.
and they're like, man, this is a power keg ready to blow at any moment. And then nothing happens. And I'm sitting there being like,
when-
why didn't the fireworks go
It's
off?
full of
Yeah.
fireworks.
It's full of fireworks. But they thought of everything, Madam Web
They
did.
really
They
thought of
thought of
everything.
everything.
Some of the greatest screenwriters of our time.
Maybe our
it comes
generation.
back.
Yeah,
it
could be.
comes back in a
Oh, it comes
big
back.
way.
Now,
So Fire Chief dies. Madam Web's like, I guess I can see the future.
Okay,
And
tight.
I can see the future, but I can't do shit to change it.
Yeah.
Because she's just like, hey, maybe I drive. And he's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Now-
And then at the same time,
Yeah.
Ezekiel Sims is reintroduced. And he's like, I keep having fucking dreams that these 3 spider
Three
women are
girls.
gonna
It's
are
so
gonna kick me off a building.
They're going to first off steal my spiders. Not my spiders.
My spiders.
My spiders. They've stolen them.
it's so.
Oh
funny.
yeah, we haven't addressed this. I guess we'll talk about the plot and we'll talk about how they
Yeah, we gotta
fucked up
get-
every aspect of this movie in such a severely.
It's so funny when he wakes up and he's like, I'm gonna die, and then the lady
Yeah.
he's sleeping in bed with is like, we are gonna die, and he's like, I will be murdered.
Yeah.
and then he murders her.
Yeah. And this woman, it's played like maybe they've been dating for a while,
It's
or
really
maybe it's a one night stand.
extremely unclear.
We don't know.
He poisons her though with his bad touch.
Yeah, he can poison people with his touch.
He's got spider power of bad touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also is precog, but maybe his visions are wrong.
And only of him dying?
Yeah, and also he's strong and can
Climb on walls.
Yeah, like
Ceiling
the spot.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got Spider-Man powers, but bad.
So he has also got somebody working for him. It's nebulous as to what he does, but he's got somebody working for him using like NSA technology
To find 3 dream girls.
Yeah, and he's like, I've dreamt about them, and then she's like, this is based on your description. This is what they look
And
like.
he's like,
This
that's
is-
them.
yeah.
They're gonna kill me by kicking me off a building.
It's like, base your description, cool, and let's de-age them to what they're about now.
Yeah,
and
and
he's a bit
also-
older in the vision.
yeah,
also, in the vision, they are wearing masks, but I figured it out.
Yeah.
it's so funny. Then he's like, well, we got to go chase him down.
Yeah.
He
she's,
chases-
she's
and-
like,
and she's like,
I
I don't
I
know
didn't
if-
sign up to kill teenage girls.
I just was helping you find the teenage girls,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, and then that's all the moral qualms she has.
Yeah, then she's ready to do it.
Yeah.
So Madam Web is on a train at the same time as the 3 Spider Girls and Ezekiel. She has
Yeah.
a vision of Ezekiel attacking them, and that's when she grabs the 3 girls. There's a bit of back and forth, but then they flee from Ezekiel.
Yeah, they do
Yeah.
a couple of visions, so like he kills, I think, each of them once.
Yes,
maybe.
yeah. Then
And the 3 women obviously are Julia Cornwell, who will obviously go on to become Julia Carpenter.
Yeah.
Anya Corazon and Maddie Franklin.
Yeah.
They're all Spider Women.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
you
the
had
future.
you had Nerd Girl, you had Rebellious Teen Girl,
Yes.
and then the other one.
There was another
had
girl there,
no
too.
personality.
What? Huh.
I can't
Yeah.
picture. I legitimately can't picture her. Like my brain, I'm
We'll
imagining that-
decide that later because in the vision she get a spider arms out
That's
of her back.
true. That's
Yeah,
true.
she's
kind
got
of cool.
Iron Spider. Julie
Yeah.
has electric
One of them's got
powers?
venom. Their origin in the comics is a bit of venom got on them. I don't know if that's. Anyway,
One of them is about the gathering of the 5.
Yeah, yeah.
Less we say about that.
I think this is the better. So
We might accidentally give Sony ideas.
yeah. So then, Madam Web steals a taxi.
And she's like, we're going to go hide in a forest.
She takes him to a forest.
Yeah.
They're in the forest. They're like, "What do we do?" She's like, "I don't know. I have to go to the Amazon."
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
not
No,
yet.
sorry. I have to go to my apartment.
That's because, like, and also, no one else sees that they can't. I guess they can't call him Spider Man.
Yeah.
so they call him Ceiling Man. So
That's
then, yeah,
so
they can't
fucking
like,
dumb.
yeah, they can't. No one else saw Ezekiel attack them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so everyone just thinks that Madame Web is the kidnapper.
Yes.
and then there's a great scene where she basically is like, "I guess I am kidnapping you,"
Yeah.
which is maybe tried to play for laughs, but it's not funny.
It's-
but then
yeah.
it makes it funny.
Very yes, yeah. The movie is hilarious.
Oh, it's so funny.
I mean, it's a special film.
It's,
It's
very not funny for
Oh,
a
yeah.
long
Yeah.
part, and then the last 20 to 30 minutes have 2 of the funniest scenes I've ever seen.
incredible stuff. So she goes away to see
Yeah.
learn about her mom, I
Yeah,
guess.
she's like, "Hang on a second, you fuckers stay there
Yeah.
in the forest."
You just stay in the woods.
And then I'm going to go back to my apartment in this stolen taxi
Yeah.
to look at a journal that I probably would have maybe
Already
looked at
knew
many
about?
times
I
before,
don't
but I
know.
guess I haven't.
Because I think, that's right, because she's like, I think that this sounds like something my mom was studying or some shit.
Yeah.
Or she recognizes Ezekiel or something.
Yeah.
No, then you just look at the photos, then she sees Ezekiel.
She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
Ezekiel who works with my mom." Then she goes back to the girls, but the girls have snuck away to a diner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Madam Web has a vision of the girls being attacked by Ezekiel at the diner, so she drives her taxi
Also,
into.
Britney Spears toxic.
Well, because in the vision, she walks there and gets there
And she's too late.
before Ezekiel rolls in.
Yeah.
And then they surprise attack. Ezekiel then surprises attacks her.
Yeah.
And everyone dies. And she's like, I got to get there quicker.
Yeah.
So then she grabs a taxi and drives there.
Yeah.
but the taxi gets there later than where she gets there in the vision when she walks.
That vision was wrong, I guess.
But she does hit Ezekiel with her car.
Yeah. The second time, or the first of 2 times she hits Ezekiel with a vehicle.
Yeah.
It's a reoccurring theme for some reason.
The girls are standing on a table dancing
Yeah.
when they're meant to be.
That's such a funny scene because obviously the way, it's designed like they're dancing to Britney Spears' Toxic or whatever. Like that's meant to be the vibe. But they are dancing on a table surrounded by like high school guys.
Yeah.
So it's kind of meant to be like Madam Web's coming in as like a mother figure to be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like my daughters. But the guy, because obviously it's also extremely weird to be like, they're sexy dancing for the boys. The guys are just like, yeah, this is really good stuff.
And it's in the
Like,
middle of an empty diner, so it's not like a bar or anything.
Oh, It's not even an empty diner. There's more people there. There's a guy that calls it in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's an extremely weird scene.
Because the guy calls it in because,
'Cause
again,
he's
people are
like-
looking for the teens. And Ezekiel, his job is money.
Yeah.
And so then he intercepts the
phone
cops.
call?
Yeah,
And he's like,
yeah.
don't worry, cops. I'm a cop. I'm there.
It's all good.
It's false.
Yeah.
Shush.
It feels like that this scene was written to take place in a bar, then they remembered that the teens are meant to be underage, even though they all
Yeah.
look like
Yeah.
they haven't really been.
They all look
de-aged.
like adults. Yeah.
Also, Ezekiel Sims, he has a great car. I don't know if that should be mentioned, but his car is
I don't
fancy.
remember his
No,
car.
I mean neither.
It's silver.
Oh, my
Oh.
God.
And fancy.
That's
And
it.
they do a
that's-
great thing. Is it that scene or was it the scene with the taxi where they do this beautiful cut?
Yeah.
Where like the camera spins with the wheel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I guess pretty quick. This is filmed like you are the drunkest you've ever been.
Yeah. It's
When
awful.
a character jumps
Yeah.
from the floor to the
Yeah.
ceiling, the camera
Yeah.
like spins 180. There's an ambulance driving scene at the
That scene,
start of the film.
I nearly threw up.
You almost
So-
had a heart attack.
It was so
yeah, so-
bad.
But before we get to the plot, we got to explain this ambulance
No, I
scene.
was going to say, yeah. So in terms of filmmaking, just in general, if you don't know
Yeah.
about this, the whole like the crossing the 180 line.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And so when you have something on like
If something enters on the left and
Yeah.
exits on the right, it has to enter on the left again
Yeah.
to show progress.
Exactly. So if you're entering on the left and you open the door and you want to see,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
okay, makes sense. It's like we're all kind of tracking through time,
Yeah.
right? There are places that like films that do this, it's kind of like fuck with it, but they do it
It's
deliberately.
an intentional choice.
Like
Yeah.
in The Shining, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure they do it like
To try to
deliberately.
disorient
kinda
you,
cross
yeah.
that 180.
So you don't know what the fuck's going on. In this, the ambulance chase before Madam Web falls off the bridge.
It felt like someone was just slapping me in the head.
yeah. So
The ambulance goes from left to right. They're driving down a fucking straight road,
Yeah.
but they're speeding.
Yeah.
So I guess
I guess that to show how frantic it is.
they go left to right, right to left, left to right, right
yeah.
to left.
So it looks like there's maybe 2 ambulances about to crash into each other.
And then
or that
when
maybe
Madam
she's about
Web
to rescue
fucking
herself
gets
from
in
herself.
a fucking car to save someone,
Yeah.
she enters through the boot, but then the camera breaks the 180 rule and it looks like she's climbing through the passenger seat.
Yeah.
But the
Oh,
passenger.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
To save herself?
Yeah. It looks like she's
It's-
saving herself.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
And anytime there's an action sequence, so the camera calms down for a bit, but then anytime the action starts again, and luckily there's pretty much no action set pieces
Yeah.
in this movie.
Yep.
The camera just goes into overdrive again. So yeah, when Ezekiel Sims jumps from the floor to the ceiling, the camera spins with him.
Yeah.
So the floor then becomes the ceiling. Anyway, and then you throw up.
And then when he's driving away in his car, like you were saying, Zamet, it's on the wheel. And so like in a Fast and Furious movie, I can imagine they do this.
Yeah.
They're like Dom, they have like shot of Dom's hand on the steering wheel, shot of Dom's hand on the gear stick. He puts it into gear, shot of his foot on the accelerator, and then shot of the wheel, whoa, and it twists. And you're like, whoa, fuck, I'm off. In this, it was like shot of the sky, shot of the sidewalk, shot of the car from like a big wide range shot, shot of the wheel, we're twisting, shot of the sidewalk again.
And like
awful.
It's going back to the ambulance scene at the start. It's also great because when you're introduced to these characters, because it's meant to be a whole frantic thing. They're meant to be paramedics on their way to they're on their way back to the hospital because there's someone in the back, and they're clearly meant to be like, oh, we have to save this person.
We're in a
alive.
rush.
We're in a rush. They're driving like they're in a rush, but they are so like they've basically had a lot of ketamine.
Yeah.
Both actors are just chilling.
No one in this movie is in a hurry to do anything.
Ben Parker is performing CPR for the longest time. At one point, I think one-handed,
You can't
just
do a
kind of
lazy
holding.
CPR.
They use CPR in this movie
A lot.
Yeah, it's
There's an extended there's an extended scene of Madam Web teaching CPR to the 3 Spider Women.
yeah.
yeah, and then it comes back.
'Cause
But then
so-
there's a scene where the fireworks factory where she's just saving a guy by doing CPR, where she's like, it's having the vision of it's like, oh, it's the fire chief, oh, it's this guy,
She
oh,
keeps
whatever.
flashing to her
But,
vision and back.
She just keeps doing CPR to a point where she looks down and the guy's like, stop. She's just like, you're all right, dude. I'll
Oh,
find
yeah,
you."
and Ben Parker does CPR on Madam Web at the start when she falls in the river.
Yeah.
She also does CPR on O'Neill, the police.
It's the CPR.
It's CPR, which is it's so like so CPR in film, like the idea of like, what do you think like the success rate of CPR is in real life? And everyone's like, oh, it's pretty high, right? No, it's like 5%.
Yeah, because it's
Something stupid, right?
No,
it's
so-
real low.
Yeah.
like it's good to do.
It's low, but if you don't do
Oh, yeah.
it, the next thing, it's like if you get to someone within a certain, it's one of those situations because I'm first aid trained.
Whoa.
It's one of those situations where if you get to someone, the quicker you start doing CPR,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
way higher it is. But then also if you've got a defib, that works infinitely times
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
So it's this thing where it's just like these, like the stats where they go like, how effective do you think CPR is? People are like, oh, very effective because they see it in film all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like,
Well, especially if they see
no.
this movie because it happens.
It's not as effective
40
as you think it
times.
is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
for
so yeah,
sure.
but this movie really just takes that and runs with it.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Cassie's Madam Web, aka Cassie's fucking furious.
She's
with the girls.
livid. She
And
takes the
she's
girls.
like,
Yeah.
time to go stay in an apartment. I've actually been not. And then she's like, oh, I've been mean, so I'm going to be nice now. I'm going to teach you all CPR.
Yeah.
Then we get a long CPR scene.
Well, before that though, we have this moment of doubt
Yeah.
of Cassandra Webb, where she's like, maybe I need to turn these girls in and maybe give them to Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Because she gets up in the middle of the night and she goes back to the diner. which
Yep.
No one is
that's
there.
right.
Just
This
has
scene was very
a crime
strange.
scene. Tape, and that's it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy considering maybe an hour before someone drove
Drove a car.
Drove a car through, yeah,
straight
yeah, yeah.
through. But no one's there, and she's walking around, and there's Ezekiel, and then they have a full-on conversation of like exposition.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like they were writing the movie and they were like, okay, we need the scene where Madam Web realizes what Ezekiel's plan is. And I can't think of any other way than he just tells her.
Yeah, so he just tells her, but then she goes back because it's very Final Destination-esque or
Yeah.
wants to be Final Destination-esque. So she does that, goes back to I guess the motel
yeah.
where she's like, well, I guess I won't do that, but I still have the knowledge of all of that.
Yeah.
and so she stays there and then teaches the kids.
It's a really long scene, the CPR scene. Like
Yeah.
it's like extremely long.
'Cause-
And you see one girl do it, one of the spider girls, and you're like,
Well,
oh.
yeah.
She's like,
If you
keep
get
doing
tired.
CPR
Yeah.
until you get tired, and then you got to tap into your friend. But they've got to match your rhythm, so you got to time it perfectly.
Yeah.
And then you see one girl get tired, and then her friend take over, and then her get tired, and then the third friend.
But it's so
take
funny
over.
because you would think they would be like, okay, because they make a big deal out of
Yeah.
you need to match the rhythm.
Yeah.
Right? So you would think that when they're doing that, they can't match the rhythm because they're not in rhythm. They're not
not
a
in
team
sync.
yet.
They're
And
not-
then when Madam Web is dying,
They
holy
are
shit,
in
they
sync.
figured it out. They're in sync.
No,
but no,
they're in
they
sync
just
from the
nail it
start.
and then they nail it.
Well, yeah, because you're just seeing staying alive. That's the rhythm.
Or another one bites the dust. They
Yeah.
both work.
Yeah. Anyway, so then she drops them off at Uncle Ben's apartment. She also makes a lot of
Oh,
points
yeah,
about him
because she's
being.
like, fuck, I got to go to Peru.
I got to
now.
go to Peru real quick.
I'll be back in a week, even though this man's trying to kill you.
Goodbye.
Stay with
About
Uncle
it.
Ben,
She goes to Peru.
who
she
is looking after his pregnant sister.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
so
yep.
Richard Parker, no
Gone.
idea.
Gone.
Also, I do love that. Like, I'm suspect one for kidnapping these kids.
Yeah.
I'm going to
I'm
Peru.
going on a plane.
I'm escaping.
I mean, granted. No, hang on. Post 9/11.
Yeah, post 9/11, they
security.
But I guess that means that maybe 9/11 didn't
Didn't
happen,
happen
but
in
they
the Madam
did
Web
No,
universe.
go to
NSA.
war.
NSA.
The NSA. Well, they don't. Oh, okay. That maybe is why she can do that.
Yeah, true.
Is because the security person who got killed by Ezekiel.
Yep.
Because like she had all like the NSA
Technology.
technology. Maybe they can't use that now because Ezekiel's
stole-
using
he
it.
stole it.
And so NSA are like, where are all our technology we used to spy on people?
Well, you can't let anybody go to whatever country they want.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
So she goes to Peru.
Gets her soul punched out of her body
Yeah.
and then goes into the web of life.
The soul punching out of the body thing is very funny because I was reading somewhere on Wikipedia. They were like, Madam Web was like the Doctor Strange for the Sony universe.
Yep.
Like that's a quote from the. So that's yeah.
It's
She
a reference
gets-
to that scene because it's exactly the same.
It's exactly that scene. She gets a soul punched out of her body. She has a vision of her. She discovers that the reason her mother wanted to find the spiders.
And this scene also establishes that Madam Web, which we don't get at any point in this
No.
movie, loathes her mother
Yeah,
because her mom.
13
She's like,
seconds earlier, she's like, "I'm so angry at my mum for dying." And
"Why did you hate
Yeah.
me, mom, or
Yeah.
whatever?" Because
Why did
she's
you go to the Amazon while you were pregnant? Like, did
With
you
me.
cared more
did
about
you
spiders
hate
than me.
Why you love spider and hate me?
Then she discover, oh my god, her mom actually wanted the spiders to fix her.
Because she
She
was
had a wasting disease or something.
Yeah, she had a fatal hereditary disease that
Yeah.
would have killed her.
And she-
delivers,
it's
Madam Web,
maybe
when
one of
she
my
finds
favorite
this
moments in
out,
the movie.
delivers the funniest line I've ever heard in a movie. I didn't even know I was sick.
But it's even less emotional than that. It's like, I didn't even know I was sick.
Yeah.
Mom did love me. I didn't even know I was sick.
It's the same tone where if you were like, Zam is not coming into work today. He's actually been under the weather for the last week, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know he was sick. That's exactly the same tone she delivers it in. It's
I've
crazy.
been skateboarding. I didn't even know you were sick.
Yeah.
So anyway, then she
Yeah.
goes back from the Amazon. Now and also the
And now she's fully powered up.
and the Amazon spider
Oh,
guy
she goes
is like,
back in time and hugs her mum, though, maybe.
yes. And the Amazon spider guy is like, your
if you-
powers, you don't even know if you can think really good. Because she's like, I just have telepathy or like a precognition. I can't
Yeah.
climb walls.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
strong. And he's like, your powers, if you're really good with them, you can be in more than one place at a time.
Because we ran past that beautiful scene where, like, as she's reading this notebook,
Yeah.
and she has to talk out loud to her cat,
Yeah.
because how else would the audience
yeah.
know what's going on? And she's like, well, how would you know if you can climb on walls if you've never
that's
tried?
true.
And so then they do this beautiful shot, which is kind of like top down,
Yeah.
down blousing
Yeah.
Cassandra. And she kind of jumps onto like the corner of a wall and just slides down.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be funny.
But it's just so out of place in the
just-
movie that
the tone is totally different. That's like
yeah.
a MCU scene, but
Yeah.
in a movie
Yeah,
that's not that.
Yeah.
Another thing that pissed me off that I just remembered didn't piss me off. That's a bit
Made
aggressive.
you angry.
I
You were
was
furious. You were
furious,
slapping
dude.
shit in the cinema.
Oh my fucking god! What? How? Why would they do that? No, so is when Ezekiel is he's like trying to steal the notes of the research thing at the very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But all he does is take photos of the drawings of the spiders. That's not useful. That killed me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It was 1973, brother. They didn't know what the fuck was going on.
what's he
why-
gonna go back and be like, find
Oh,
this
yeah.
spider?
Also, he was. Why is the camera so small? In 1973? We didn't have little cameras then.
Spy guy, I guess. Also, Ezekiel
Where'd the film
Sim,
go?
Yeah.
as a villain, he has his own spider suit.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, that spider suit's
Sometimes
based off the Amazon Spider-Man.
he
isn't
never
it?
met them.
Well, he knew of them. He had heard the legends.
Also, there's moments where, because it's like they're trying to maybe disorient you,
Yeah.
there are times when he's wearing it, times when he's not wearing it,
Yeah.
and then he's half wearing it.
Well,
There's time
'cause-
where he takes off the mask. There's times where he's barefoot in a suit.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I guess he needs to be barefoot to touch the wall to climb.
But then the
he-
spider suit has feet.
Yeah.
huh?
It makes no sense.
Anyway,
I
so
think he only ever attacks the girls as Ezekiel Sim in the first vision on the train. And anytime he actually attacks them, he's in the spider suit.
No, because he's in the spider suit. Because, hang on. In that moment, they attack in the train, right?
Yeah.
And he's Ezekiel Sims. And then it cuts out. Now he's on top of the ceiling and he's dressed like a spider. When did he change clothes?
It's because that's the
Underneath him?
vision. The
Yeah.
Ezekiel Sims. I'm pretty sure that Cassie is the only person that ever sees his face. Like, as in those things. Because anytime he attacks, it's
oh yeah,
never
he's
just
dressed
him.
like the Spider-Man.
So when he walks through the...
that was
That's a
not
vision.
real.
No,
That's not a
because
real.
When she grabs the kids...
Yeah.
And then they're leaving the train.
No,
Ezekiel's
he's-
in the train. He looks out and he sees them. He clocks
Oh
them.
yeah, he does
And so then
too.
he gets out of the train.
Or maybe he only. I don't
then
know
he
what the fuck's going
has a
on.
quick costume change.
Quick costume change, just slips into it. Maybe he had it on underneath.
I'm starting to think that maybe this movie was film fucked.
Yeah, you
I
might
like
be
that.
right.
Yeah, it's probably Phil. He's wearing underneath, but he had his booties in the bag.
Yeah, because he loves to be barefoot. Barefoot is legal. He's one of those guys.
Barefoot is legal. Mm.
Yeah. Those people who are like, actually, being barefoot's not a crime, and we're
Yeah.
like, no one said it was. It's
Yeah.
just gross.
Yeah.
You're gonna step on a needle. What are you fucked? Anyway,
Sometimes it is a crime.
is it to
It's
be
not like,
barefoot in the
it's not
street?
like crime, but it's like find crime.
If I'm barefoot in the city,
If you're barefoot in a train station, I reckon you're in trouble.
No, I don't think so.
Why?
That's not a crime.
Barefoot
Like
is
annoying-
legal.
yeah, dude.
No.
You're
I think-
making us be the guy.
I don't want to be on the side of the
Come
barefoot
on.
people.
I'm pretty sure you get a fine. Like in the same way you're not allowed to wear rollerblades in a
Look
shopping
it up if
center.
you could be barefoot on a station.
I'm fairly certain it's one of
Thank
those
you.
things where it's
Or
just,
maybe no, because you can't
no
be
shirt,
barefoot
no
on.
shoes, no service.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not a crime. That's just a policy.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can get fined for it. I think.
Yeah. No.
I saw a bunch of
I
people.
think you get fined. So is speeding a crime?
I saw a bunch of people online who had gone barefoot mode and
Yeah.
they chopped the bottom off all of their shoes so that nobody could tell they were barefoot.
What's the point?
I don't know, dude. Well, they want
So they want to touch grass or whatever.
grass with their feet.
I want to touch ass. That's way better.
With your
Bro,
foot?
touch ass.
Dude, go touch ass.
Okay, go touch ass. Anyway,
Is barefoot legal?
Yeah.
so barefoot is illegal. So Madam Web comes back
Yeah.
from Peru. She goes to the three girls and she's like, "Oh, I know what Ezekiel wants. How do they get to the Pepsi factory?"
So she then starts becoming more in understanding of her powers.
Yeah,
she has a
she's-
big think.
She knows that she can think
Yeah.
big and
Yeah.
she can control the precog way
Yes.
better,
Yeah.
and she can choose when to have visions.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
So, like in maybe any other film when it's about people with these kind of powers or powers in general,
Yeah.
you then either have a montage of them getting to do it, or you do something interesting and creative about it,
Yeah.
so that we as an audience know that they have control.
They've got control, yeah.
They are showing, not telling. Let me tell you about this film though. It loved to tell.
Tell, sort of. It's show never.
yeah.
And so a lot of it loved to assume, I guess.
Yeah.
You
Do neither.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
kind of just connect the dots.
Yeah, you got to do a lot of legwork watching Madam Web.
Yeah, because it's like that's right. Yeah, when you think real good,
Yeah.
you can be anywhere.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yes.
You can be at multiple places at once. And when I heard the Spider Shaman say this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, so she can use her precog abilities to not just change the future, but change the past.
Yeah.
I
So I was
see.
like, okay, so she's going to be able to use her precog abilities
Yeah.
to like pop up in multiple different places, all with that sort of future knowledge that she can help herself
Yeah,
and help
yeah.
everyone else. I could not have been more
No,
wrong.
if you
Wrong.
massively
In
incorrect.
fact, she uses her power to be in 3 spots at once in the same room, and then she almost dies.
yeah, yeah.
So I just remembered how
Why
it all connects.
didn't she fucking
Who knows?
just do the? Because she uses her precog so often in the movie.
Yeah.
To be like, oh no, if I do this thing, I'll get hurt.
Yeah.
So if I just take one step back, I won't get hurt. But the
But then
the
did
finale of this film results. Look. I'm gonna spoil the very end of the movie before we get there.
That's okay.
She gets hit with a firework whilst underwater,
Mm-hmm.
and also hit by the big. Is it the P or the no? The S.
That's
It's,
a big.
the P kills.
Of the Pepsi. Sign.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a big Pepsi Cola.
There's a
sign.
big Pepsi sign. The
It's
P kills Ezekiel Sims, and the S paralyzes Madam Web.
Yeah, and,
Sure
and the
does.
firework
So-
blinds her. It's
Yeah.
really, it's good stuff.
It's a lot of 1, 2, 3 punches in a row.
Yeah. So she comes back from the Amazon. She goes back to Uncle Ben's house, and she's like, "We got to get the fuck out of here."
No,
yeah, because
Uncle Ben's already got the fuck out of there.
Because
May's gone
May's-
into labor
May's
because
pregnant.
she's led.
not
May.
Not May.
Spider-Man's mom,
Mary.
Mary's
Also,
pregnant.
weirdly, I don't know if we mentioned this right now, but
Yeah.
like May is referenced,
Yeah.
Yep. Never
but
addressed by name.
never said out loud. So it's like I have a new it's like Ben's like I've met somebody.
Yeah.
Madame Web's like,
What's her name?
Yeah.
And Ben's like,
Which is funny because they pull that trick later on when they're
Yeah.
playing the name game about what
Yeah.
they're going to name baby Peter Parker.
yeah. So and then so she's like, oh, that's serious.
Yeah.
And then same thing. Well, like, what are you going to call like Mary's
Yeah.
baby? And then it's like. They almost say Peter, but then a balloon goes off and then
Yeah,
she goes back
they
in
stop.
time. And so I'm like, do Sony no longer have the rights to say May
I would imagine-
or Peter or Spider-Man?
I'm thinking because those are the characters that have because Uncle Ben has said a lot, like as in Ben
Yeah.
Parker has said a whole bunch in this movie.
Yeah.
Because like the trailer and like the lead up to this film, there was like, who is Adam Scott
Yeah.
playing? Is it Uncle Ben?
Is
They
he
won't
Spider-Man?
announce
Really?
it.
Now?
Was that a
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There was heaps of it.
Uncle
dumb
Ben,
as shit.
fucking
Why?
Emma Roberts and Adam Scott's roles weren't revealed. You can be as
Why?
confused by it as you want, but
It's just superhero movies these days. If you have somebody that's like a celebrity, like Adam Scott is like one of those, like
he's in Severance and Parks and Recreation.
yeah, like I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. I think if you have like a
damn.
like it's like if they had a Pedro Pascal in and they didn't announce who they were, people would be like, "Who's Pedro Pascal going to be playing?" Because he's like one of the like the guys, you know. You know, there's like guys
No,
that people.
It's also like this is just comic book movies. If you're gonna have characters that people know in the movie,
Yeah.
you're like, we don't say who they're playing, and then it'll probably be this guy.
yeah, who's it going to be? 'Cause
Yeah,
I
but
remember-
it's been happening for 15 years.
I
Yeah,
know,
it's not
but
new.
It's
yeah.
more stupid because in this movie
Yes.
they don't hide it at any point.
No, yeah, that's
like
what I
they're
mean.
not like I'm like Cassie says Ben Parker, I reckon, in the first 15 minutes to no fanfare.
Yeah.
Like that,
and
yeah.
she's like, isn't she like, aren't you excited to be an uncle? And then isn't there a bit where she's like, are you scared you're going to get shot in Queens? Like,
No,
yeah, there is. There's a bit where he's.
No, the line
hope
is. The line is all of the fun and none of the responsibility. And then Cassie goes, we'll see.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah,
then there's
yeah,
also a
yeah,
bit later on where he's like, he's talking about how dangerous the city is and or getting shot, and she's like, "What are you scared you're gonna get shot in Queens?" Like,
I do not remember that.
It is in the movie. I've seen people making fun of it.
That's incredible.
But people have been making fun of lines that aren't in the movie because the
Look it
internet's
up on your little
stupid.
machine.
The internet's stupid,
Look it up on
Jackson.
your little machine.
People keep being like, I'm a Madam Web and whatever,
it's
and people be
not
like, as if
that
this is
level.
actually fucking...
Yeah, I miss trailers in the 90s.
Yeah.
where they just told you the plot of the film.
Yeah,
and
those
it
were
was
the
just
days.
Like, this fucker's playing that. Enjoy the film. And
You're
I'm
gonna
like, I
get
will.
what you like. But I guess with Madam Web, they knew they had
Nothing.
so little that they had to just
It's
rely
just so
on this.
weird to be like, okay, yeah, we're gonna cast Adam Scott, and then be like, oh, we don't know who they're gonna play, and then it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, it's Ben Barker. And that means what?
that's
What
gonna
does that
be
mean? Like that
so
doesn't add
exciting for
anything.
people.
Is
People
is that
love
like, is
Uncle
this that
Ben.
kind of weird? Like, oh, it's a spoiler, and people get shitty.
No, I don't think so. I
Oh,
think they're just people just
fucking
excited the idea that Uncle Ben's in there. People love Uncle Ben. Anyway,
So yes, Mary's water breaks. Ben is like, I'm a paramedic, but somehow
It's in the very first scene, that's why I don't remember it.
yeah.
There you
But
go.
it's like offhandedly before you know it's Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Something, you don't want to get shot in Queens?
So funny. So anyway, they take an ambulance. They got to take it to the hospital, but at the same time, they pile everybody in there. At the same time, Ezekiel's chasing them.
Yeah.
They drop off May Parker, Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Then it's just Madam Web driving with the Spider Girls. Madam Web does some crazy precog shit, drives them into the fireworks factory. They have a fight in the fireworks factory. She does that this strange move where she uses her being in three places at once power.
Because Ezekiel's like, well, you can't save them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
she's like, wait a second.
Huh?
Yeah, like the one thing that I was like, oh, I kind of like this.
Oh,
was, like,
okay.
at that moment before, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like when Ezekiel tries to fight
Yeah.
the ambulance that Madame Webb's driving, and
Yeah.
they're like, Peter, go away with Mary and that. We're gonna take the girls, and they actually end up escaping him.
Yeah.
And there's like a scene which I'm assuming if it was done better,
Yeah.
would have been like, that's a pretty cool scene because the whole thing about like charge the paddles,
Yeah.
and, like shoot the thing. Like if that had been done and cut in a way that we're like, oh, we're showing her get her
Yeah,
powers,
yeah,
and this
yeah.
sort of start making sense, but they just don't.
We're kind of left
Yeah.
to assume that Madam Web's figured out this whole.
Madam Web is living the future where she's dying and all these things happen.
Yeah.
and she's
Yeah.
now changing it, but we don't see any of that.
No.
We're just making a lot of assumptions, and then he just like gets zapped or whatever, and then rolls
Yeah.
into a car, and then they go on, and then they're driving. They're like, well, now what?
Yeah.
And then there's that beautiful moment where they just stop and they're like, yeah, good point. He's just going to keep chasing us.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, we have to set a trap. And I'm like,
We got
that's...
to kill him with the Pepsi sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, cool, we're going to set a trap. I'm like, that is maybe the only cool or interesting thing that you're now doing. And then they don't do anything
No, well, they
cool
don't
or
really set a
interesting
trap.
with- That's what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. They just.
That moment, that one moment
Yeah.
where I'm like, oh, maybe a bit of hope.
Yeah. No, yeah.
No.
Then-
Where they're like, let's use my powers creatively.
No.
No.
They go to the fireworks factory. Fireworks factory goes off. There's a lot of fireworks.
Yep.
They fight around the Pepsi Cola sign.
Yep.
The big P lands on
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel kills him.
He falls in the same way that if 3 girls kicked him off a building.
Yeah, but
this
instead
time
Madam
it's a
Web
Pepsi
kicks him
Max
off.
sign.
No, doesn't
Sorry.
Madam Web?
Madam Web kicks him off and
Yeah.
a Pepsi sign falls on him.
Falls on top of
Yeah.
him.
I mean, look, if you had that as a dream, I'd be like,
I can't avoid that. That's comic for me.
But also Madam Web is hit by a firework.
yeah.
No, I can't remember. Something happens. She falls in the water,
Yeah.
but then when she's in the water, she gets hit in the head with a firework. But you can't really tell that's
You
what
don't
happened.
really know what's going on.
Then the S falls in on her.
Yep.
You
And
don't
then
really tell what that's going on.
three women, the 3 future Spider Women jump in and they save her. And then they do that CPR that
Yep.
they've learned.
And guess what?
What?
They get tired.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they have to take
They've all 3 of
over.
them have
It
got to do it,
happens.
dude.
The scene plays out the same again. Madam Web opens her eyes and you can tell she's blind, you know. But she doesn't
with
say
some of
anything.
the worst CGI.
Oh, really gross.
I thought what was going to happen then was we were going to go like slam back to the start where like
like there's a vision she's having in the water
like at
the first time.
like we're back to, and like Ben Parker's dragging her out or something like that. I'm like, oh, thank Christ they didn't do that.
Yeah, that would have been crazy. And then instead we get a much more awesome scene where Madam Web is wearing the craziest sunglasses.
Well, no, first she's in hospital sitting up in bed.
Oh, that's right.
With bandages over her eyes, being like, what did you name the baby or whatever?
Yeah.
And they still don't say Peter Parker.
No. And like she's acting now like a completely new character.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
totally different.
Totally
She's very
different,
like
very smug.
very like old wise woman vibes
Yeah,
now.
and
but
also-
she's like in her 30s.
And then they're like, because the three future Spider women are there, and then the nurse is like, "Are these yours?" And she's like, "Yes, they are." And they say the same thing, but in different words again.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, I
And then
guess
the nurse
she's
is
the
like,
mother figure.
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
I
the
don't
nurse
give a
doesn't
shit.
give a fuck. She's
The nurse is like, you're
"Good enough
lying
for
to
me,
me, but who gives a
I
shit?
don't
I'm going.
care
It
in
does
the
not
slightest.
matter.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this movie up.
Yeah, it's just they say the same thing multiple times. It's beautiful, and then
then-
they do a beautiful smash cut.
Yeah.
one
And
of
then
the funniest cuts.
And then it cuts. Then it cuts to an apartment building thing with like a conservatory.
Yeah.
Where Madam Web's looking out a window, but not obviously because she's blind, and she's wearing red sunglasses, and
looks
she's in a
so
wheelchair because the
stupid.
movie hasn't actually established this yet. But she's also been paralyzed.
By that ass.
By the ass.
So then she turns around, looks real smug with the dumbest sunglasses you've ever seen in your
Just
entire life.
so
The
stupid.
three Spider Women come in, and then the discussion is like, yeah, I guess at some point in the future we're going to become fucking Spider Men.
Yeah. The end.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, and then they do like a montage, which is kind of like like from a CW special.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Everyone
chose
is
the,
wearing the outfits
Yeah.
and they look terrible. in
Madam
that
Web
lighting.
is sort of floating behind
Yeah.
them, but psychically because she's in the clock tower or whatever.
Yeah.
This did feel like Oracle from
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like it because like the big window.
Yeah.
I don't think Madam Web's ever done that
I don't think Madam Web
in the
Yeah,
comics.
no.
That's an Oracle move.
gets it. Yeah, oh, big time.
Yeah, so
so
it's
it's
just-
Robin Gail Simone.
Yeah, it was like okay,
Maybe they just really fucking hate Gail Simone. Like, we're just
Maybe.
going to make sure that she's.
rob her fucking blind.
We're going to fucking take all of her ideas and we're going to say these are our ideas. We got the best
And we're
ideas.
gonna taint them so the next time you're reading Birds of Prey, you're like, "Ugh, it's kind of like Madam Web.
Yeah, we're gonna take Gail Simone's ideas and we're gonna say these are our ideas, and then we're gonna make them into the worst fucking pieces of shit
Garbage
movies you've
Like,
ever
I know-
seen.
I know-
People are gonna buy tickets to the movies. They're gonna be throwing up and shitting their pants, and then when they go into the comic book shop to try and cleanse, they'll see these these Gail Simone comics, and they'll read one and they'll be like, "This reminds me of that dog shit movie I saw. I hate
like
Gail
Craven.
Simone."
I know I said this at the top, like don't probably not malicious, maybe it's incompetence, but at the same time, like maybe somewhere in between where they're like, you know what did really well?
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah. Man, DC movie. I wish I was making DC
I wish,
movies.
I wish
You
I was
don't want to
working
be
for-
saying you wish you were making DC
I wish I was
movies.
working for Warner Brothers, making sure that my movie never saw light of day.
It's truly hard to say at the moment if Sony Spider-Man movies or DC movies are in a worse way.
Yeah.
I mean, Sony don't have any good movies.
No,
where
Sony are
DC
basically
have some.
Yeah, but Sony movies are like a joke now. You know what I mean? Like maybe they get some bums in seats that way.
Yeah.
I mean, Sony
I just
movies
remember
were
them
a
that-
joke from day one. People were like, "Hey, have you seen the Venom movie? It's bad but crazy."
Yeah.
And now people have come out and been like, "No, it's actually good. No, it is bad."
It's just bad, but
It's
crazy,
bad.
yeah.
He sits in a fish tank and that's awesome.
Yeah.
And he eats old fish.
like
That is
I know.
awesome.
I see like a bit of
Venom
you
2
know,
stinks though.
Yeah.
discussion.
boring.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
No,
It's
I'm not
just boring.
I'm not gonna watch.
No, me neither.
But I've heard like that discussion of like, well, because people like to compare.
Yeah.
And they're comparing Madam Web to Morbius, and they're being like, it's actually worse than Morbius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, I disagree because
Okay.
Morbius was made by people. There was like a level of earnestness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a level of we care.
Yeah.
And there was a level of like we are building up to something and this is going to be great. And like the fact that I think that it didn't take off and they got
Tyrese Gibson thought he was
Yes.
playing Blade.
Yeah.
and the,
Yes.
and the fact that like they got to release it twice and then it still made no money. I think is they got confused.
Yeah.
They didn't know what was going on
got
because I
scammed.
think they got in their heads that they made a winner.
Yeah.
Whereas the people behind
Madam
Madam
Web,
Web felt like they had given up.
Yeah.
And I have a lot more respect for that.
Well, I think-
because it's a funnier film.
Yeah, I think you can see in a lot of like reading about the behind the scenes stuff in Madam Web, where they're like, yes, it's really hard to make like an action movie about somebody whose only power is seeing the future.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, it's not like your typical superhero movie. And they're like, yeah, it's kind of more of a thriller and just clearly They were like, we don't know how to make. There's no way to make this movie good.
I mean, there was, but you just didn't do it.
But and like we've got a freaking D tier Spider-Man character to turn into something.
I mean, they're probably pretty stoked that like they've signed Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
And she's like the type of actress that if you're making movies like this, you want names like that. Because like she's been big for a while now, but I would say in the last like year or two with Anyone But You coming out and reigniting the hype. And in last year she had Reality, which was like an indie film that people quite liked. I think she was in something else as well. Sydney Sweeney, and obviously Euphoria, huge. And like they're like, well, the MCU has Zendaya, we'll grab the other breakout star from Euphoria. And she's probably signed a contract to be in 10 of these movies because that's how that works. But they've shit the bed so hard that not even that's going to help them now.
No.
Having Sydney Sweeney does nothing for them. If you
Just wrecks Sydney Sweeney's career.
Yeah.
Because she immediately fired all of her talent agencies.
Yeah.
No,
as well.
that
was,
was Dakota Johnson.
Dakota Johnson, sorry, excuse me.
She fired her management, I think a day or two before the trailer came out. Day after,
Day
maybe?
after, I think it was the day after, which makes sense because you're like, well, maybe they can fix it.
Whoa.
Edit. Oh, they didn't. They fucked it even worse.
Yeah.
This was a really bad movie.
Yeah.
But funny. So funny.
Super funny.
Some
genuinely good laugh moments.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately for me, it was unmemorable bad and was just bad.
Oh, really?
I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
See, there's nothing.
I think it was bad in a crazy way.
Yeah. See, I again, you look at something like Morbius or even some of the MCU films, more recent ones, where they're trying to be that earnest and try to do this. Whereas this one, like, they knew that they had a big stinker to the point where they're like, there is no after credits.
Just go home. We fucked it
it's
up,
fine.
dude.
Like, they didn't give a shit about the ADR.
Yeah.
They were just like,
Oh, we haven't even spoken about that.
Oh my god.
it was just like, all right, hey, guy who's playing Ezekiel,
Sims.
can you just do the most over-the-top, generic, like, villain voice, but not match it to the other voice you've also used half the time in this film?
So
It was crazy. I don't know
the
what the hell
ADR
was going
has
on
two
there.
very different problems.
Yeah.
One, which I guess more paints to the fucked up development of Madam Web, which is there is scenes, and usually movies hide this, and Marvel do it all the time.
Yeah.
Of doing the shot reverse shot, where they've clearly changed a line in ADR.
Yeah.
But they shoot it over the shoulder of the person.
Yeah.
So you can see the jaw sort of moving,
So
and you're like,
it
that
just helps
isn't
with the
quite
illusion,
lining up. And paid. Madam Web just fucking full on shows Ezekiel's lips
Flat
flapping
on
away.
face. Not saying it's like he's dubbed over. It's crazy.
It literally has the same feel as watching a film dubbed into a different language when he's talking. And there's also, because it even,
The sound is different.
Yeah.
the
Like,
fucking
the mixing is different.
performance is fucked as well. Because like there'll be scenes where he's clearly like whispering, and then the line, it'll be like, he'll be like, so like the line will be something like, we have to get those teens. But then what you hear will be like, we have to get those teens. I've been seeing them in my dreams
I
and
get
they
murdered
kill
in the
me.
future.
They
I don't want that.
They stealing my spiders.
Yeah, it's truly like I just can't. But then like I was thinking about like the Marvel movies I've seen recently.
Yeah.
That
You shouldn't be thinking about those.
you're right. You are right. But most of the time, I'm just bored in a Marvel movie these days.
Yeah.
I watch it. I'm like, this was put together lazily, and I'm bored. Madam Web, I was like, I feel like I'm going insane.
Yeah.
And I
I'm here
prefer
for
that.
It was
you
definitely
know?
shot more interestingly.
Oh, yeah.
AKA badly than an MCU film.
Like,
Absolutely.
there's those moments where I'm like watching it, and you're just like, was this filmed in a way where they knew that they were going to do ADR? Because even some of like every time he talked and it was on him, his mouth wasn't in shot.
Yeah.
And like, or in shadow, or they just sort of swept the camera around.
But, like,
from shooting.
What was so bad about his original
Well,
voice?
I'm guessing.
I don't think it was voice. I think it was
lines.
Yeah.
Because his driving force, the reason he wants to kill them teens, makes no sense.
yeah.
Because he gets kicked off a building. It also doesn't really make sense what he's doing with the spider because he's got the powers, but then we also see he still has the spider.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of it that you're like, I don't understand.
Why
this.
did he want the spider powers?
Yeah.
And also, it's a great point because he wakes up and he's like, they're going to steal my spider.
Yeah.
Is the implication that the Spider Girls are going to get powers from his spider?
That sort of was the implication, but they had the the
then the
powers when
Vision
they were
is-
killing
yeah.
him. So I don't know.
We never go back to the spider.
No, we do
It's
not.
just not a thing.
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
I will say that the characters that they avoid saying in this are characters that have appeared in the MCU.
Yeah.
So Uncle Ben, they say.
Oh, he
and-
hasn't appeared in the MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uncle Ben hasn't been in the MCU. They say Richard.
Yeah.
They say Mary. All people that haven't been in the MCU,
Yeah.
but they don't say Peter and they don't say Aunt May.
Yeah.
No.
Weird. Also,
I don't
why
say
wasn't-
Ned either.
Why are they bringing up Ned, dude?
Why wasn't Richard there?
I don't
He's
know.
just gone. You know what they're doing, right?
Which
This,
bit?
but he's gonna die. And
No, they're doing the fucking Ultimate Spider-Man.
yeah,
thing
yeah.
again.
Well, he'll
He was in Shield.
yeah,
No, that's regular Spider-Man.
yeah,
They
Ultimate
shouldn't.
Spider-Man he was working on the Venom thing.
yeah.
They could be.
Who knows?
Oh, actually, yeah, they're probably also doing that.
Yeah, fuck it.
Well, they're doing the nothing thing.
Well, yeah, they're doing the nothing
nothing
thing
thing.
because this
Yeah.
movie.
Like, I don't know. To me, just
How
like,
many bombs does Sony need
Well,
before
what are they
they
got coming
stop
up?
doing this?
Kraven.
Kraven and Venom 3 are both out this year.
So there's more coming, and they're not gonna be good.
And also, El Muerto's back.
El Muerto's back. That's true.
Yeah, but is El
in a big way, dude.
Muerto is back
He's
without
back.
Bad Bunny.
He's back.
Is Hypno
baby.
Hustler back?
Probably.
Okay, so Hypno Hustler and El Muerto, they just keep being like, yeah, they're coming.
We're gonna
But
get
they're not
that secret
working on
Sinister
it.
Six. It's
Yeah,
gonna
we're
be
gonna get
good.
that secret Sinister Six.
I don't think we're going to get that far. I think that after Venom 3, we might get a Venom 4 and that's it.
You reckon?
I think they're abandoning this because they've shit the bed so bad. They're going to push for. My prediction, and I've been saying this since Baseless Speculation started.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to make either a Spider-Man 4 or Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Okay.
And I think that they're going to just put all their fucking stocks into that after this.
Yeah.
And they're not going to connect any of that to this. They're not going to connect any of what they've currently done to that.
Yeah.
It'll just be like, hey, we're making Spider-Man 4 and Spider-Man's fighting the fucking Rhino or something.
It'll be Tobey Maguire, you
Yeah.
reckon?
Yeah.
And it'll be,
That's so sad. They just left Michael Keaton in a universe.
yeah.
Yeah, they stranded
They
the fucking
stranded
boy.
Michael Keaton. He went from one universe to another. They let him out of prison.
Tragic.
Oh, that's so sad. He thinks he's Batman
thinks
and he's
he's
hanging with
Batman.
Morbius.
The food is different here.
The food is different there, and Morbius is hanging out with Tyrese, who thinks he's Blade. So
I
it's Blade
know.
and Batman and Morbius.
The idea of going to a different universe and the food is different is actually quite unsettling.
Yeah.
Different how?
Tastes different.
What would that mean?
Just
Well,
be
it tastes
different.
Yeah, that's
It
scary.
is, man.
That's fucked up.
Well,
No,
yeah,
I
what
know,
I
like-
see as blue, you mightn't see as blue. Just think about that for a bit and
Well,
shut up.
You know, the thing is, like, if you go to different universe, right? Like, your atoms are like a foreign,
Yeah.
a foreign body to that whole universe. So, could you even eat the food that's there, or is it like poison?
Well,
to
if
you?
it killed me, that would be wonderful.
I think
that
so.
would be wonderful. That would be
very
truly
happy.
Oh, this would be
divine.
bliss.
that would be great. I
Maybe
Oh,
that's
no,
what
then
they'll
you go
do.
to the alternate universe heaven.
Maybe that's something to do with Vulture. They'll be like, yeah, Vulture was here, but then he ate some spaghetti. But because he's from a different universe, that spaghetti was poisoned to his atoms, and now
Spaghetti
he's
is
dead.
poison in our universe.
Yeah.
To him.
Yeah, just to him.
Oh.
But yeah, I reckon they're going to have to do an Amazing Spider-Man 3 or a Spider-Man 4. There's already speculation that Marvel wants to keep the next Spider-Man movie that they make as just what they teased at the end of No
Okay.
Way Home. Of,
They do love to make that claim.
of
yeah.
Tom Holland just being like, I'm a regular Spider-Man now and I'm not going to space.
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
no
Yeah.
galaxy-ending things.
I'm just
but
an
Sony
orphan
are like,
and
hey,
an aunt, uncle orphan too.
Yeah.
Sony are like, hey, yeah, nah, have Toby and Andrew come back again.
Yeah, of course you want that, Sony.
Yeah.
Of course you'd love that.
I just
I mean, the last one made $2 billion, so I could see why Sony's like, hey, we got $1 billion of that. Please do that again.
like it must suck being like the people
In these
behind
movies?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
of course. But it must suck being like the MCU at this point. The
Yeah.
people behind like the Marvel stuff because you're like people are getting tired of. I don't know if it's like either getting tired of superhero films or just tired of bad films.
Yeah.
And so you're like they put out maybe a couple of stinkers.
Yeah.
But because there's been but because of Sony and because of like DC and all them also
Yeah.
putting out stinkers in the same period, it's just like, what's the opposite of like rising tides?
Oh, yeah.
Is everything
lowering
getting
tides
sink us all?
Sink us all, yeah.
I think that the superhero fatigue is mostly caused by the Marvel formula. I don't think
Yeah.
Sony and DC are to blame.
No,
'cause
I kind of
DC
agree with
movies
that. DC
are,
maybe, but I don't
no,
think Sony's to blame.
DC follow a different formula, and I think that DC films often are like very like far more boring than the MCU
Yeah.
if they fuck it up, or they're just like wildly inconsistent and don't make any sense.
Well, I think it comes from a lot of different directions.
Where
I reckon-
Sony are just like usually nothing happens in any of their
And it's
movies.
bad.
And
But
it's
I think
bad.
part of it is I think the Marvel formula probably contributes to superhero fatigue in that
Everything looks like shit.
it's very generic or whatever.
It's
and
action
then,
comedy. It's Bad Boys.
yeah,
And
and
then-
then they just continue to come out
Yeah.
like they're just inevitable. DC and Sony probably contribute in that like they help with that oversaturation.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like,
well, it's good because Marvel's like, oh, we're only releasing one movie this
Yeah.
year, but because Sony are releasing
Three.
three in collaboration with Marvel or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck they're called. What do they say?
I don't know. I know what you mean.
Association with?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're releasing 3 in association with
Yeah.
Marvel movies, which means that everyone's going to think that 4 Marvel movies came
It
out this
doesn't
year
feel
anyway.
like we've had
Marvel,
no.
like, please take us off.
Yeah,
Please,
it's not like we've had no superhero movies, and here's Deadpool 2 or whatever.
Deadpool's
3.
here to say, "Hey, Mickey Mouse, this is what
Suck
a rim
my
job
dick."
is.
Yeah.
I'm here to go to the fucking Loki world, and I'm going to kill
Yeah.
Wolverine. Oh
Here
no,
I
we're going
am.
to kiss.
I'm a rim that rat.
Oh!
I'm Marvel Jesus, baby.
Yeah.
I think I've said this before, but I'm going to say it
Ryan
again.
Reynolds dies.
I hope that when I'm seeing Deadpool and Wolverine in the cinema,
Yeah.
and he breaks the fourth wall, he comes out into my cinema so I can kill him in real life. But wait next to the screen with a big brick.
yeah.
break that
second.
fourth
Any
wall, I'll kill you.
Deadpool creeping out. Where's Dusha? Back of the head.
Yeah.
Nah, it's
He
gonna
was
then
coming
he's
out
got-
for you in that
make
scenario.
It's gonna make a bill.
No, we're
Mark
going
my
to the zoo,
words.
baby.
Yeah, we're going to the zoo on your
Brother,
dime.
I know people keep saying things about fucking Deadpool 3 being the highest viewed trailer of all time, but
Lie.
it's rated
It's just-
R, which means that it's cutting half that audience off anyway.
But
so
it's
it
also
doesn't
not
matter.
the highest viewed because of so many of those numbers because it was a Super Bowl trailer. Because it's
Oh,
it's
they-
Super Bowl. It's inflated by Super Bowl viewers.
So they added these
Yeah,
Super Bowl
of
viewers
course.
to the number. That's so funny.
People at cinemas no longer give a shit. They'll be letting kids in to see the Deadpool in droves.
Me and Joel Dush are going to be looking at them gorillas.
Yeah.
We're going to be high fiving because we're seeing gorillas.
Look, the bet. I don't know if you remember this.
I don't.
I think you do not. The bet was we're
we're all
going to the zoo.
That's true.
If it makes a Billy, you're paying for my
The
ticket.
difference is we're looking at the gorillas. If we win, you've got your pockets turned inside out.
Yes.
There's moths flying away because you
Yes.
paid. If you win, it's me and Dusha with our pockets turned inside out.
Correct.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
either way, we're
Either
looking
way,
at
we're seeing
gorillas.
gorillas, and I cannot wait.
Me too.
And just a quick update. Highest grossing R-rated films of all time.
Yeah.
Joker is number 1.
Okay.
And that's the only one to ever cross a Billy. And it
Yeah.
limped over.
Yeah.
Well, mark my words. Just saying.
I can't wait. for the
Deadpool
zoo.
2 is at number
It's
3.
gonna be so good, dude.
And that made 700 million.
Yep. And
Can't wait to see the giraffes.
250 more. That's a Billy.
That's a Billy.
Oppenheimer's close at number 2, but yeah, it's just not going to happen, I don't think.
I think it will.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Either way,
We're seeing
either
some
way we
big
win,
apes.
dude. Either way we see the gorillas.
So, anything you liked about this film?
Great
No.
question. No,
It's
Dude,
really
legitimately
bad.
nothing. It stunk. It was a bad time.
And it's
Yeah.
not stupid in the way that I wanted it to be stupid, except for the line, I didn't even know I was sick.
Yeah.
To be honest, no. I guess in terms of my personal
It was
experience,
filmed in a crazier
it was
way
funny.
than I was expecting.
It was a funny viewing experience.
Yeah, I think I would like to see this movie in the drive-in with my boys.
Yeah.
I think
to
I
be
would
able
have
to make
liked-
fun of it directly without wrecking the experience.
Yeah.
There was people behind us laughing the whole time.
We were also laughing. It was
Yeah.
hard not to. There
It-
were
it was
moments that
funny.
caught me off so off guard that I was
Yeah.
just a burst of laughter.
I think this would be a good movie to see in 4DX.
Oh
yeah.
Oh wait, no, because not much action happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when the action does happen,
Oh, it'll
that
surprise
chair's
you.
launching you through the air.
When the camera
Oh.
spins with the wheel, the chair spins around.
As I do love the sponsorship of this film.
Oh yes,
I love that.
Great. Pepsi?
No. Well, yes, but I love that we got sponsored by, or this movie was sponsored just by milk,
oh, yeah.
just by generic milk.
There's legitimately a scene early on with Dakota Johnson she's sitting having breakfast.
Yeah.
She's got a big jug of milk, and it's a generic movie brand milk. It's
It
not a
says-
real brand.
It's red
It's a
and white
carton
and just
that
says
says milk.
But then she pushes it to center frame, like as though
It was meant to be. It's
and
almost like
faces it like she faces
Yeah.
it to the audience.
It's kind of
It's
like
crazy.
it's like it was meant to be product placement. They
Yeah.
used placeholder, and then they couldn't find.
They could have had a milk spot.
Yeah, Big M wasn't interested.
or
Pure
juice.
raw,
Yeah, it's like one of those things where they like sitcoms where
Yeah.
they just like just chuck it over the top. It just felt very much like that. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I love Pepsi. I love that Pepsi played more like how much did Pepsi
was
play
important.
to firstly kill the villain and also paralyze the main
That's
hero.
true. That would have had to be a conversation where they're like, "Hey, we love the sponsorship. Now, is it okay if your logo kills the hero, or
No,
paralyzes the hero?"
Yeah.
And Pepsi was like, "Sure, baby.
Like,
This is Spider-Man, yeah.
You do get to kill the villain though.
This is Spider-Man. You're making a Spider-Man
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
In a way.
In a way, it is. It's about a Spider-Man.
There's that moment at the baby shower where Dakota Johnson
She
is
keeps carrying around-
fingering an unopened Pepsi can.
That's right!
That is clearly not full of Pepsi. It's an empty can. It's an empty can, and it infuriates
She does
me
it
so much.
twice because
You
she's.
think I was angry about taking photos of the spiders? I was fucking livid. And there's 2 moments in the movie where Dakota Johnson
'Cause
gets
when
a can.
She's just fingering it. She doesn't open. She
Give
just
me your
sort
can.
of
She
fingers.
does this fucking crazy thing. She's got the can, right? She
goes
goes
to
to
open
open
it,
it.
she
She doesn't
open
open it. She never opens a can. She doesn't think this is not a thing anyone does, but because she obviously needs some hand business with the can, she rubs it like an apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, what the fuck?
She does it
Yeah.
twice because she has a can of either 7-Up or Mountain Dew when she's
Yeah.
talking to Ben about the person Ben's been dating, and he's like, I can't tell you her name or whatever because Marvel will come for me.
Yeah.
And then, she's got a Pepsi at the barbecue
She's
too.
doing
Oh,
this.
yeah.
What?
The Pepsi
Open the
at
can!
The Pepsi at the barbecue. That's the one. Yeah, and like it's empty. It's,
Yeah, of
it's like
course.
it's clearly a prop that has nothing in it, and it's so beautifully.
But I don't know. Is it a thing where you can't open a can that you have
No,
on
you
a
can.
movie?
No, it would just be for continuity.
Continuity?
Yeah.
And if they're doing the shot a bunch, Dakota Johnson probably not wanting to drink that much soda.
Or not open that much
Yeah.
soda?
Actually, cracking a can over and over again does hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Will hurt your little fingy.
I'm just going to
is
get
that-
weighted things.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't matter. You can't tell if this. I'm holding a cup for people listening at home.
Yeah.
It says Kingo is movies because
Yeah, yeah.
Kingo is movies.
Kingo is
we know.
movies. That is true.
It's
That's
heavy,
undeniable.
so you can't tell if it's empty or not.
Yeah.
Well, you can because it doesn't. Yeah,
I can tell it's empty.
Well, because it's not slishing. Slishing.
It's not slishing.
It's not.
I can't hear a
Slushing.
single slish, so I think it's empty, dude.
Yeah.
It's not
Stop
swishing
slishing,
around.
Yeah, but
Sorry.
you can kind of tell. It's like you fill it with something at least, so you can tell
Sand.
anything.
Dirt,
concrete.
I would go water myself.
Heavy. You know?
Yeah, fill it with some heavy.
Yeah,
Rocks.
fill it with heavy.
Yeah. Piss.
Okay.
You could take a shit in the
You
can.
you could. When I was at art school,
Yeah.
we went for like an art camp. Like, like a whole what do you call a level of us?
Yeah.
Basically all of us. And a lot of drugs.
Okay, cool,
You know,
nice.
crazy. Anyway, but there was one, like, because it was part of, like, artists or whatever. And then one guy, because you have to do, like, an art thing or whatever.
Yeah.
One guy, he did a lot of shrooms and then shat in a can, and that was his art.
That's
all?
awesome.
Yeah.
Was it like a can of beans?
Or
like a can of drink?
Like a drink kind of thing, yeah.
Is it like drink shit?
I don't know. I don't think he knew.
You know how people say eat shit?
Yeah,
Hey,
drink
shit, dude.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's a far nastier
that's
threat.
a nice little memory
Yeah.
unlock there.
That's really
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, well,
And I
Can
think that-
you get high from huffing your own shit
I
fumes?
hope not. Don't try at home. No. Let's say no and don't investigate.
Why
would you want to?
Yeah, but also,
What the
why would
fuck?
that? How would that work?
I don't know. It's just a thing I heard.
Do you get high from huffing shit?
Like if you shit in a bag and then you put the bag to your mouth. and
What?
You huff the
I think
shit.
that's a great prank.
that would just
you-
make you spew.
You'll get
'cause you're just
high.
huffing. That's just like huffing farts.
I mean,
dude.
I don't know. I've never done it.
You
but
know
it's
in
just-
Jackass?
Yeah.
Where they do that basically.
Yeah.
Where they put someone and then like a tube on
Yeah.
their mouth and someone farts in it and then someone just drops his shit in that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the guy vomits.
He didn't get high.
Yeah.
No, he just
Yeah.
threw up.
I think it
Yeah.
might be called Jenkum.
Jenkum.
Isn't that like a...
Jenkum.
Isn't that
Possibly.
booze?
Jenkum.
Is
Yeah.
Jenkum huffing
Jenkum.
shit in a bag?
So JENKUM.
Possibly, or EM?
Yeah.
Jenkum. Oh,
I think this is one of those maybe like early internet bullshit that you maybe read once.
in November 2007, there was a
Not
moral
true.
panic in the United States of widespread reports of it.
Okay.
A lie?
It was
A
a
lie.
hoax
Well, people-
and
Yep.
based on faulty internet research.
okay.
There we go.
Well,
kind
there
of
you
like
go.
lipstick parties.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. The rainbow lipstick
parties,
whatever
yeah,
they're called. Yeah. All bullshit and lies. No
Yeah,
one's doing that.
no one's doing
It's
it.
just some dumb fuck has this thought.
Yeah. But somebody
And tricks
probably
you.
Yeah, tricks me. But probably someone out there huffed their own shit, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
and they
'cause
didn't get high.
Just
They probably either threw up or because they're a pervert, jerked off.
I guess you'd be like, am I doing it wrong? What's fine? I'm not getting high from this. This is crazy. I've huffed so much shit and I'm sober as a fucking nun. What the hell's going on?
And yeah, it's like, oh, they do it in Zambia, which is again another classic internet
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
of being like, yeah.
Put it in a country. Yeah. Well, okay.
And also, I did love the Calvin Klein
Yeah,
product
yeah.
placement. That was quite
Oh,
nice.
yeah, that was good. That was good. That was good. It's good stuff.
Why did you think people huffed human shit?
I must have heard it somewhere.
Gullible as
The
shit.
internet. You're an idiot.
I picked it up. You know, I picked it up. I'm a curious guy.
No, you're not a curious guy. You're an ill-researched guy.
Uh,
If you were curious, you'd know because you'd read about it.
Yeah, that's true. I would think, are people huffing human shit? And then I'd investigate it myself.
Yeah,
No,
but
they're
instead you
Yeah.
just claim, yes, they are.
Well, because I'll tell you what happens.
Okay.
I read somewhere online 10 years ago, people are huffing human shit. Then that just disappears in the back of my brain. Now, in the year of our Lord 2024, Joel Zammett's telling a story about a can of human shit.
And then you
that
s-
little thought, to the front of my brain.
Yeah.
And then you say,
Then I ask my good friends.
well,
I pose just a genuine question to the group, to my pals of 10 plus years, and what do I get in return? Fucking mockery.
yeah,
Rudeness.
it's going to happen every time you do it.
That's, you know, you're going to give me a
mean-
complex.
sometimes I'm like on your side. This time I'm not.
I didn't even have an opinion. I just asked if it was real.
No, because
No.
you do that fucking
No,
thing.
don't gaslight us, you shit.
You do this fucking thing where you ask a question or say a crazy thing
Yeah.
where you're like, oh, I heard this. And people are like, no. And then you ignore what they've said. And then you just go down the path like we've said, yes, they do.
Well, you said no, and I just wanted to know if that was because I get immediately your reaction is, of course, people are not for human shit. I just wanted proof. Is that such a crime?
Why is it on us to prove a negative?
Why isn't it us
I
to
don't have
prove?
my phone. If I had my phone, I'd be googling.
No,
Yo,
you
are people
wouldn't.
huffing human shit?
You wouldn't, because you want to live in a world where you're right about people huffing
Well, I think it
human
would be a
shit.
much funnier world if people were
Well,
huffing
people
human
are
shit.
He's
huffing
not wrong.
People are huffing human shit because fucking Madam
Yeah.
Web made $51 million.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is a great film to watch. Never. It's not even like. Because the last 10 to 15 minutes are genuinely hilarious.
But it's
it's
not
very-
worth
But
it
it's
for...
just not worth it because
Yeah.
it's such a long film.
You
Yeah.
could probably just wait. I mean, people have definitely posted on X already of just the reveal of Madam Web turning around.
Yeah.
Oh,
when
yeah.
she's got the red sunglasses.
It's very funny.
That's
Like-
pretty funny.
Yeah, I was like, has this fallen for me into that sort of BVS territory
No.
of negative 10 out of 10? And I'm like, no.
Not quite.
It's
Not
like
quite.
there's moments where it's pretty funny. I'd love to know, like, what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
I loved the ADR,
Yeah.
how bad it was, and I loved just that whole
Goes for
thing.
2 hours, nothing happens.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but there is so many long stretches where nothing happens.
People just make baffling decisions.
It's almost borderlining on like the Room level of bad.
Yeah.
in that like
The ADR is like
Yeah.
impressively shit
Yeah.
for a blockbuster film in theory. $100 million.
I think
Yeah.
it's fun to watch in the sense of just seeing how bad things have gotten.
Yeah.
I think that's what I like about
Well,
it.
Same.
we've been I said
Yeah.
this for the last episode of Baseless Speculation last year of like 2023 had a lot of surprising lessons for studios to learn.
Yeah.
But 2024 is too soon for any of those to come into
Yes,
action.
very
So
true.
all of the punishment they copped in 2023 is going to get worse in
Yeah.
2024,
Yeah.
and they can't do anything to
Yeah.
To
avoid
mitigate it. Yeah.
So yeah, it is going to be an interesting or die a year for movies.
yeah.
And we'll be here for it all, baby.
We'll be here for it all.
The absolute parasitic lamprey on cinema itself, baseless
the-
speculation.
Just the scene where they kill a pigeon and then they save a pigeon, and Dakota is just voicing everything as it happens. Like we're not watching the film
when did this happen?
when she's trying to learn
When she
her
gets her powers. At the
Oh,
start.
that's right.
and like she clearly doesn't understand that she, it's like she just thinks everyone's playing a great prank on her.
Yeah. When
she's
Even
getting-
when she uneats food, I guess.
Yeah.
There's just moments where you're like, honey, either you're having a mental break or
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
something else going on.
That would
But
be
you're
my
like,
first
why
thought.
people haven't pranked on me?
People are pranking.
What? Who unate my food?
Who ate my
Who
food?
ate my sandwich?
And then like you go see your I don't know, I thought she was seeing a psych.
Yeah.
But they're just like we can like her job like things are fucked up and she's clearly telling them about the visions and they're like, look, you just need to rest.
Yeah, go
we
home.
we can organize a psych appointment if you want.
I did
They're not-
speak to one of my paramedic friends, and it turns out that the mental health care for paramedics not as good as you'd hope
Yeah.
it to be.
Yeah,
So
maybe
maybe-
that's the only
hey.
realistic part of Madam Web.
Maybe this is all just like, you know, in the unspoken shadow of 9/11.
Yeah.
All like, you know, the things that the paramedics went through. They're just like, you know, they're just left, you know, reeling, having to do with it themselves. It's like, what's that? You're having visions. Look, we're all having nightmares.
Yes, it's been rough.
Uncle Ben went to Afghanistan.
He
That's
sure did.
fucked up.
Do you
Yeah.
think Madam Web feels like she got her powers a little too late?
Yeah.
Like, I would be like 9/11
Yeah.
happens,
But then
incredible
also-
tragedy, and then 2 years later, you're like,
I get
I get the ability to see the future.
Why?
But
Why
I
is,
would think more 9/11s were coming.
If she,
Why is the three girls more important than? Also, a lot of other people die in this film that
Yeah.
she don't give a shit about, but she really goes to a lot of ends to save those three
Three
teens.
Three spunky teens. Well, they're going to become important spider women.
one's
I
a
guess.
nerd, one's a skateboarder, one's a.
Insert
we don't know.
personality at a future
What
date.
are they meant to be? There's definitely an archetype.
Well,
Are they a
well,
loner?
maybe because initially they're like, "No, I'm not going to join in on the fun of you dancing," but then they
Are they the like
join in on the fun
pragmatic,
of the dancing.
practical one?
Not the
No, but that's
skate.
the nerd.
No, that's a nerd.
Because it's the one that lives at the apartment complex. Because
Yeah.
the rude,
Oh,
cool one
yeah.
is the fuck you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna run you over with my skateboard when you're in an ambulance.
Oh yeah, and that's right. She's the niece of J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
They mentioned that.
What
But they
a,
don't say J. Jonah
They
Jameson.
just call-
Another
they-
person.
They say Jonah,
who's they do
Oh,
say
they do
Jonah.
say Jonah, don't
but they don't say J.
They
Jonah.
don't.
So it
Yeah.
could be anyone.
Could be any Jonah.
Could be any Jonah. I don't know.
Could be any Jonah. Could be. I don't know any other Jonas.
Was it Jonah who went in a whale?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hill.
Jonah
Could be
Hill.
Jonah Hill.
Oh my
That's
god.
who I meant. That's who I
Yeah.
meant. Jonah Hill. Famous
Superbad's
actor.
very own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Stinker of a movie.
Really bad.
They cooked it. Made a bad one.
I would love to know what the fuck happened.
Yeah. What went on behind the scenes?
It's like Morbius in the sense of it's not going to be fun to watch. If you've listened to this and you're like, that sounds crazy, I
Yeah.
should watch it. Wrong.
Yeah.
Watch fucking
The last
a
10
horse
minutes.
kick another horse or something. That's
that
fun.
would be
pretty
awesome.
funny.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Yeah.
Or maybe an ape. Oh, that video of the ape pissing in its own mouth.
Yeah,
Look that
watch
one
that.
up.
Well,
Yeah,
look that up.
yeah. That when the ape scratches his own ass, then he gives it a sniff and faints.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, now that's a good video.
I think it's truly a tragedy that this podcast is about movies and TV shows instead of funny ape videos we found online.
we can pivot.
Every funny
can
ape video
pivot.
is 5 stars.
I follow an Instagram account called Ape Archive, and mostly it's just apes having fun. But recently they post a photo series of apes boning.
Whoa!
I sent it to you, Jackson.
Oh, you did too.
Yeah.
It was good.
One of them's them doing a doggy style. It's crazy. Why are apes doing that? You don't see any genitals. They're just clearly
They're
fucking.
clearly humping from behind.
Yeah.
You seen that great video of a gorilla? He's eating a banana, and then I might have brought this up before. And then I don't know if they put this in ADR, but somebody farts, and the gorilla stops eating for a bit. It's just great because he's like, it's perfect. It's like one of the most perfect videos I've ever seen.
Yeah, the fart is definitely ADR
Yeah,
because the
I've-
video is like chomp, chomp, chomp. Chomp, chomp, chomp.
What made him stop originally? Yeah, he was just thinking.
Have ape thoughts.
Send your great, I don't know where, but please send us gorilla videos.
Baseless
Yeah.
speculation at gmail.com.
Yeah,
Yeah.
send us your best gorilla videos, please.
Yeah. And on that note, I've been Joel.
I've been Jackson.
And I've also been Joel. This has been another episode of Based Reaction, an episode of Baseless Speculation, and we've been the Based Reaction boys, or the BS boys. We're
We are,
back!
boys.
We're back!
We're back. We're back.
Movies.
I wish the movie was good.